We have a question from the internet, from our webcast, and this very beautifully named gentleman, Vijay Tulsiani, asks, do solar-powered cars have a place in the plug-in future? Anyone feel like handling that question?
Sure.
Well, Chelsea, I mean, the EV1 was a natural successor to a solar car, wasn't it, if I recall my history?
It was a natural successor for my solar car. I'm not sure that it would have worked the other way around.
Right.
But we heard it a lot. Just put solar panels on your car, put sails on your car, put wind turbines on your car. I mean, everyone had the improvement, and if they were rude, I'd hand out job apps. I think right now the best thing to do by far, given the state of solar, is to put it on your house and let it run that house when you're not, charging your vehicle with it. So that's still the best marriage between renewables in general and vehicles. Will we maybe get to solar panels on cars one day? Yes, but we're not there yet.
Right. Very good. Let's have a couple more questions. Sir, please identify yourself and a short, sharp question. A little better than my earlier questioners, please. I think my patience.
Hi, my name's Seth Katz, and I had two questions about the Project Better Place initiative. The first is, particularly in the European Union, I know that there's a lot of privacy concerns with billing. And in particular, it seems like there could be some potential here for either a company or a government to track people's movement. What are the issues that you've confronted with that? And the second question is just, if you have a city, let's say like New York, where the population all goes to the city during the day and then leaves the city at night, do you have a problem where all the batteries accumulate in one place and there aren't enough batteries in the initial place during the day, and then at night you have the reverse problem, because everyone's moving their battery in the same direction?
Great questions. Sir, next gentleman, I'll take your questions as well.
Well, let's see.
Please identify yourself.
I'm Professor Andy Frank, and
Professor
I don't know
Frank, if you could speak into the microphone, it's great to see you, sir.
I'm Professor Andy Frank, and I may have, I don't know whether I started this or whatever, but I've been working on plug-in hybrids for 30 years, and I have a couple questions. One of the things we're supposed to do is talk about how this is plug-in hybrids may affect the world as we move forward. Now, Shai has some very nice ideas about getting Israel involved and stop using the oil and all that. But your neighbors right across the border 5 miles away aren't going to like that very much, because they sell oil. Oil is their commodity. Oil is what makes them go. So the main question is, what do you do about the oil companies? Oil companies have enough profits now to buy the world. And so the $200 million that you're raising isn't going to do much. So the question is, shouldn't we be considering the entire world, including the oil companies, including the coal companies, in our policies to move forward? That's the first question. I think that's an extremely important question, because if we don't make the oil companies our friends, they will be our enemies, and that's worse. So, and I'm a technologist, and somehow or another I'm getting into geopolitics, but nevertheless, in order to make this kind of technology move forward, we have to consider that. The second thing is the use of or the shift of oil into use of electricity, I think should be starting right from the starting gate, including renewable energy. Renewable energy and V2H, as mentioned by PG&E, all those things must occur simultaneously with the introduction of the car. And this business of waiting 5 years or 10 years into the future, we can't do that. I think this is a statement and not a question. I think the panel, I would like to hear the panel consider how we would introduce all these technologies simultaneously so we can get this thing moving faster than later.
Very good. Thank you, Professor Frank. Of course, a godfather of plug-in hybrids. And of course, he has worked for many decades on this technology, and I know from having spoken with him over the years and visited with him. He has fought many bitter battles, difficult battles with car companies and oil companies. I wonder, let me turn to my panelists. Based on that experience, he has sort of two interrelated questions. One is, what about the power of oil companies and other folks who have a strong interest in the status quo? And a related sort of solution he offers, rather than incrementalism, to go for a big bang, that you need to do multiple things at once. We did see sort of big bangs with cellular telephony, with PCs, and some ways how they challenge the mainframe paradigm. Does it work when we talk about energy, automotive infrastructure? Yes, go ahead.
Well, I think, unfortunately, you have, with the oil industry, your wonderful book, by the way, is about these two industries and how they're headed to a split, right, a divorce. The auto industry is being pushed by prices and new fuel economy standards to turn out more efficient products and to turn to hybrid electric vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, the prices that we've seen recently seem to be having an opposite effect on the oil industry. They're buying back stock, they're turning to traditional exploration production activities, turning away, in some cases, from renewable alternatives. And it's kind of makes sense. If you're a shareholder, if you run one of these companies and you're getting such an obscene amount per unit of your products, then there's not much incentive to change your way of doing business. And this is why I know we're going to talk about federal policy on some later panel, but for us, the solution is to put a price on carbon, put a cap and trade system in place, put coal under that, put the fuels industry upstream under a cap, and push that cap down over time and require the oil industry to be part of the solution, as opposed to what they're entrenching themselves into now, which is becoming a bigger part of the problem, unlike the auto industry.
So a public policy as a way of forcing a reluctant industry along in the right direction is what you suggest. Shah, you're in the business end of this business. Have you found obstructionism? Have you found it difficult? How would you pick up on Professor Frank's comments?
So first on Professor Frank's comments, and then the first
yes, of course, and we haven't forgotten the earlier question.
Unless somebody else wants to answer about Project Better Place. So, first of all, he's as usual. Professor Frank's on the money on this thing.